Now, Richard Gadd said that he and Netflix had gone to such great lengths to disguise Martha's real identity that she wouldn't even recognise herself.
Now, that's one thing I will say, right? Because if this is the person, which, again, my spidey sense and my gut is like, I don't know what these lengths have been. Because at this point, it could be like a body double. Do you know what I mean? What lengths have you gone to? I'd like to see one length.
So all of this would come out in a court case?
In disclosure, yes.
And you're prepared to do that?
Yes. Because I didn't write him the emails.
Who do you think did?
I have no idea. I think he probably made them up himself. I've no idea. 41,000 emails.
Yeah. I mean, would
I don't know.
Would you accept that someone who did that would be very...
Sorry. Sorry.
Now, again, there is obviously a resemblance between...
Do you think so?
Well, a bit, but
That's hardly flattering.
Well, I don't think there is a resemblance, having met you, and you both speak Scottish people.
She said, don't you compare me to... Well, people thems. So, I wasn't going to react to this because I am not the biggest Piers Morgan fan. I'm not the biggest Piers Morgan fan at all. However, I am very interested in this particular story. So, a lot of you will know already that I've already watched Baby Reindeer. I didn't actually react to it because I didn't really know what the show was going to be about. So I actually watched it on a day that I was really hungover, thinking, okay, this will be something to watch. I mean, I react to so many things. I'm just going to watch this. And needless to say, if you've watched it, this ain't the kind of thing you want to watch on a hangover at all. At all. But whilst it was really harrowing, and my patrons will know, I do actually love me a good harrowing story, like something I can really... sink my teeth into and kind of binge and really talk about it. Like, what is the impact of this? Like, I love that kind of storytelling. But with this, I think what got the whole world, nation, whoever's watched it, gripped was the fact that it was based on an allegedly true story. And the internet being the internet, they have tracked down who they believe to be the real Martha, whose name is Fiona something or other. Now, I don't know. For me, I felt a bit mixed about it because I'm like, when I heard that this interview was happening, I was like, if this is the right person, and this is the person it was based on, and I won't lie, from the clips I seen on Instagram, I'm like, mate, it was you. Again, allegedly, I know, but like, just from what I'm seeing on this particular interview, I'm like, if this is meant to convince me that it wasn't you, But then on the other hand, I'm also like, but if it was you, then this is someone who is potentially mentally unwell, right? And I think it's fair to say that, because if somebody is exhibiting any of those kind of symptoms and signs, that isn't someone that is, they're not psychologically well to stalk someone or whatever, or all the things that have been alleged to have happened. If that is the case, not good. So it felt a little bit like it was going to be quite exploitative for it to even be on there. But I've not watched the full thing, so I kind of want to watch the full thing to give my full opinion on it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch the full thing. I've seen clips, I've seen little clips here and there, and from the little clips I've seen, I'm like, this wasn't the one to convince nobody that it wasn't you. Like, if anything, from the clip I saw, I was like, the actress did a very, very good job. That was my opinion. But I want to watch the full thing to give it like a proper opinion. So this is probably the first time I've played anything from Piers Morgan on my channel.
This show is incredible.
Baby Reindeer.
He got absolutely obsessed.
A beef curtain.
I did not move.
Everybody is talking about Baby Reindeer.
Now fans are trying to find the real people behind the story.
Because it does depict real life events.
It's blown up so quickly and so fast all around the world that I didn't expect it.
First of all, why have you decided to go public? When did you know that you were the person being depicted? He says the whole thing started because he felt sorry for you. Have you ever been to prison? What do you feel about Richard Gadd? You think he's mentally unwell? Did you ever turn up at his house? Would you accept that someone who did that would
Well,
be
that's a question after question.
Here's the thing, I don't know the truth. You do. You look down the barrel of that camera. To people who still doubt you, what do you say to them?
I'm one of them.
One of the first things that viewers of Baby Reindeer are told by Netflix is that this is a true story, not based on a true story or inspired by real events, but a true story. It's emphatic about that. The show's writer, comedian Richard Gadd, even plays the lead role himself. Many millions of people across the world have now seen it. It's one of the biggest Netflix shows of the year. And I've watched it all. It's a riveting, emotionally intense drama worthy of all the critical plaudits it's now receiving. Viewers are gripped by the apparently real-life struggle of a fledgling stand-up comedian who is mercilessly stalked by an older woman, Martha, in a 3-year onslaught of harassment. Martha bombards him with tens of thousands of lurid emails, leaving hundreds of voicemails, lurking outside his house, attacking his partner, even confronting his family and friends. Now, Richard Gadd said that he and Netflix had gone to such great lengths to disguise Martha's real identity that she wouldn't even recognise herself.
Now, that's one thing I will say, right? Because obviously, if you are going to make a statement like that to say, I've gone to these extreme lengths to make sure that, you know, she's unrecognizable. If this is the person, which again, my spidey sense and my gut is like, I don't know what these lengths have been. Because at this point, it could be like a body double. Do you know what I mean? What lengths have you gone to? I'd like to see one length.
That wasn't true. Many people did recognise her very quickly. And the woman at the centre of the story was outed online within hours simply by cross-referencing her posts on social media with those that were used in the show. Other details about her character bear a striking, unavoidable similarity with the real woman now accused of being the crazed stalker Martha. The show raises uncomfortable questions about the line between fact and fiction, fantasy and reality. Another innocent man in the television industry has been falsely accused of sexual assault based on one of the storylines in the drama.
Yes.
Well, Fiona Harvey is the woman outed as the real Martha of Baby Reindeer. She's chosen to confirm her identity because she wants to have a right of reply. And so, in her first television interview, she joins me now in the studio. Well, thank you for joining me, Fiona. First of all, why have you decided to go public?
The internet sleuths tracked me down and hounded me and gave me death threats, so it wasn't really a choice. I was forced into this situation.
What do you hope to achieve in this interview?
I came on your show because you're a veteran broadcaster. I think you'll give me a fair hearing. You were persecuted yourself not so long ago. So that's why I've chosen this show.
Have you watched the drama?
Not at all. I've heard about the court scene, about the jail sentences and all this sort of stuff.
But you really haven't watched any of it?
I haven't watched any of it.
You're not curious to?
No, I think I'd be sick. It's taken over enough of my life. I find it quite obscene. I find it horrifying, misogynistic. Some of the death threats have been really terrible online.
Misogynistic? She finds it misogynistic? Okay, I'm gonna have to explain what she means by that.
People phoning me up, you know, it's been absolutely horrendous. I wouldn't give credence to something like that, and it's not really my kind of drama.
When did you know that you were the person being depicted in this? 5
years ago on BBC Breaking News, I saw Mr. Gadd had written a play for the Edinburgh Festival, and he was holding up placards, MP's wife stalker, and all of this, and he'd called it Baby Reindeer. That's all I knew. And I thought, well, I've only met this guy 2 or 3 times. I don't know him. And left it at that. I should have possibly jumped it at that stage.
So hang on. So even at that point, though, like if you only met someone a couple of times, why would that even that wouldn't even register in my head? If I'd met someone a couple of times in a pub, and something popped up on the TV to say that there was a play that they were making, I probably wouldn't even remember that it was them. If I only met them, if this person was of so much disinterest, I probably wouldn't even correlate that, oh, that's someone that I met a few times in the pub and now they've got a play. Never mind the fact that, oh, this might be something to do with me. Like, I don't know.
When did you know that Netflix were doing something?
2 weeks ago. I had just moved flats, so it was 2 weeks ago past Saturday.
And how did you hear?
I saw on BBC Breaking News that he'd sold to Netflix.
Oh, again, BBC
and
Breaking
both
News.
he and this character, Martha, this Jessica actress, seemed to be promoting mercilessly.
Did you think then it was you that they were depicting?
I thought it was me they were depicting 5 years ago because of this MP's wife stalker article that had been a number done on me by the Sunday Mail 25 years ago when I was going for Donald Du's parliamentary seat. So I had a vague idea then. The Daily Mail then approached me on the Wednesday, 2 weeks ago, so sort of 2 weeks tomorrow. But 2 weeks ago, if you see what I mean, and told me that I was getting death threats online, that I'd been outed as Martha, there were TikTok videos. And
Were you
all of
online
this.
at all? Because you were before, but are you these days online?
I've come off Facebook as of yesterday.
Are you on X, what used to be Twitter?
No, I'm not.
'Cause you
on
had an
Twitter.
account.
Yeah, that's right. Years and years ago. I'm scared to Google up BBC Breaking News. I'm certainly scared to Google up the Daily Mail in case I am on it in some bizarre circus.
That moment you realised,
See, I'm 5 minutes in, and already I'm already convinced that this potentially someone who isn't as psychologically sound, because she's made reference a couple of times to BBC Breaking News, but BBC Breaking News isn't the only place that news comes out, and isn't the only place that bulletins come out as well. So why is it just that in particular? And the fact that she's made reference to the fact that, yeah, okay, 5 years ago, you thought it was you based on you got running for a parliamentary seat. I'm not saying that wasn't true, but okay. I don't know. I'm just getting vibes already that I'm like, even the way that she's answering, like in terms of the tone of her voice, I'm like, I don't. That's someone, listen, and this could just be being nervous and being on TV, like, and how you answer certain things. You know, when everyone's got like a telephone voice. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm really getting that kind of voice from her on this, which is giving me like maybe not that authentic. I don't know.
it was you that they were depicting from what you were reading. The sleuths, as you say, had found your tweets. They compared some of the phraseology. They'd done the maths and they worked out this was you that was being depicted. How did that make you feel?
Absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I couldn't believe he'd done that. And so long after first meeting, you know, we're talking 10, 12 years ago, really horrendous. I didn't know who to trust. I was told by the Daily Mail, don't trust those bleeps in Scotland. Whereas I found John Dingwall of the Daily Record completely wonderful, actually. He's acted with total courtesy. I couldn't believe this had happened.
I want to play a little clip. This is just some of the reaction to Baby Reindeer
Sure.
from members of the public.
She ends up becoming the craziest stalker I ever seen in my life.
And this is all a true story.
This is all a true story, yeah. And they've found the real woman online.
So I assume in the actual thing, they've obviously given her a different name. It's a different woman, but you know what I find? They always manage to find a similar looking woman, and the build tends to be the same.
I have a theory about this, though. I feel like he's done it on purpose because he knew that people would find her and he wants to make her life hell a bit.
When you hear that, what do you think?
The final guy on there, I think, is correct. I think he always wanted this to come out, to persecute someone, to take attention away from him and this rape allegation. And I just generally think he's got extreme psychiatric problems.
I mean, there's no doubt he has problems. I mean, if you watch given that he's written it about himself, if you watch the whole thing as I did, all 5, 6 episodes, whatever it is, he has a lot of problems. He's quite open about that. The question, I guess, which we'll come to, is how much of the way he depicts you is true. And your position is that it's just not factual.
It's a work of fiction, it's a work of hyperbole, as I've always said. And there are 2 true facts in that. His name is Richard Gadd, and he worked as a jobbing barman on benefits in the Holy Arms, and we met 2 or 3 times. Those are the only.
Well, let's go back to let's go through some
Yeah.
of these things. So,
How did
you
meet?
first met him. I mean, the show shows you coming in to a London pub. You've just named the pub, and he's working behind the bar, Richard Gadd, and he offers you a cup of tea. Is that what happened?
No, that's not correct. He didn't offer me a cup of tea. Nobody gets anything free from the Holy Arms. I was in for a meal with a drink of lemonade, and I was very, very hungry. I'm diabetic, so very hungry. So that's.
And did you
true.
talk to him?
He interrupted a conversation. There was another barman there, and he said, "Oh, you're Scottish," and basically commandeered the conversation. I was talking to somebody. It's pretty rude to interrupt. So he seemed to be obsessed with me from that moment onwards.
I mean, just speaking to you, I never.
Sorry. So, okay. I'm not saying these things can't happen. But what purpose would somebody have who's already working? So you've got a guy that's a fledgling actor, as she said. He's on benefits, as she said. Again, I'm working in a bar. So at what point then are you going to be lucky? She did you use the word obsessed? He was already obsessed with me at that point. Why? Like, I've been into many a bar in my time. And, whilst, okay, you might get some looks or whatever, like, someone that's going to be obsessed with you or try and interrupt your conversation, like, when they've got stuff to do, I find that very, very suspect.
I've met you before, but you do look and sound very similar to the actress in the drama.
I haven't seen the actress. We're both Scottish. We've both got dark hair. She's considerably younger than me. I think she's about 18 years younger than me.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 58. I'm a year younger than you. And I think Jessica, the actress, is about 40, 38, 40.
It says in the show that you proceeded to return to the same pub time and again, but you never paid for a drink.
I don't drink alcohol. And
did you pay for anything that you had in the pub?
Lemonade or soft drinks.
Would he give you free drinks? Or?
No, absolutely not. This is sort of a depiction of me as a pauper who wouldn't stand around or stand a drink. It's nonsense.
It says that you told Richard Gadd that he looked like a baby reindeer toy you once had as a child, hence the name of the show.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I appear to have written most of the show in my sleep. I dressed.
Did you have a baby reindeer
I
toy?
had a toy reindeer.
So that's true.
And he'd shaved his head. That bit is true. And there were reindeers in the shops. It was Christmas time or something. It was a joke. So I have inadvertently penned the name of the show.
Right.
Hang on. Listen. I'm only 10 minutes in here. And I'm like, now, for me... So this person that you don't really know, you've only met a couple of times, somehow you've managed to discuss that you had a baby reindeer that shaved off his head, but nothing else is true. But the name of the show, you having this childhood... How many times have you gone out there and spoke about, A, do you even remember your childhood toys? But B, to go and tell some random person in a bar that you don't know who interrupted your conversation, was quite rude, who's giving obsessed vibes, why would you be giving them any kind of information like that? Like, I think at this point for me, I think it's completely unfair to be interrogating this woman because... There's already enough inconsistency for me to go, do you know what? Yeah, you know what? It's all right. It's okay. And I get it. Like, if she wants to do the legal thing, like, then that's fine. That's completely her right to do that. But I, in the court of public opinion, I don't think we need to see anything else. I'm only 10 minutes in, and I'm like, mate, why would you tell anybody that? I don't think I've ever spoken to, like, my best friend about some of the toys I was playing with when I was a kid. Never mind talking to some rando in a bar.
But that is true.
That's true. That's a true fact.
Whilst bantering with you, Richard Gadd told you he'd like to hang your curtains. Is that true?
This, I think, was a Holy Arms joke about curtains and a lot of sexual innuendo.
He did say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it true that you caught Richard Gadd looking through your window after he followed you home one day?
False.
You never saw him at your house?
I didn't see him at my house. I think it would be impossible to look through a window.
Did anyone else ever see him there?
No.
So as far as you were concerned, he never turned up at your place?
Correct.
But the Netflix show has him doing that.
Yes, I believe so. I believe so. I've been told that.
But that categorically didn't happen.
That categorically didn't happen.
In the course of your relationship with Richard Gadd, you sent him 41,000 emails, 350 voice messages, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters.
That's simply not true. If somebody was sending somebody 41,000 emails or something, they'd be doing how many a day? Lots.
Well, they'd be obsessively
yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What did you send him?
None of that's true. I don't think I sent him anything.
You never sent him anything?
No. I think there may have been a couple of emails exchanging, but that was it. Just jokey banter emails.
Netflix have said that these details are the real ones. That this is exactly
completely incorrect.
So you're denying sending anything to him?
There may have been a couple of emails.
Text messages?
No.
Facebook messages?
No.
Did you tweet him?
I may have done years and years ago.
You actually tweeted him numerous times.
No, it wasn't numerous. It was about 18 tweets there or 14.
It's quite a lot to someone.
Guys, listen. I'm really trying to balance out, the incredulity of what I'm listening to. And is incredulity a word? The incredulousness? Just how flabbergasted I am by what I'm listening to. So I'm trying to couple that, because if anybody else was coming out with this kind of stuff, I'd be like, this is ridiculous. But I'm also then trying to be like, but this could be someone who is mentally unwell. So I'm trying to really balance that out, so I'm not laughing at someone that's in crisis, because how do you go from saying that, like, nah, I never said nothing? Because you've come on an interview, right? You come on an interview to clear your name. You can't have a wishy-washy, I never said nothing. Actually, I did send about 18 tweets. Why? Why would you be contacting someone? 18 tweets. I can't even tell. And apart from sending on funny memes, which I don't even think 10, 15 years ago memes was even like what it is now. So what is it that you were tweeting that you needed to tweet 18 times to someone that you don't really talk to, that is obsessed with you? 18 times in comparison to I never sent him anything.
He's not that well known.
But we were all friends. You know, it was banter.
Right, but it establishes you were contacted. That's in public.
Yes, I mean, this
Did you write him letters?
Public, no. I think when I saw the rape interview, that's actually incorrect. What I said there, when I saw that in the Guardian, I said, "What a shame! It's not your fault." Something.
You
like
did
that.
write to him.
One later.
So you would say you only sent him a handful of emails. You never texted him.
No.
You tweeted him 18 times, you think.
You
never sent a Facebook message.
That's
and
right.
you wrote him one letter.
Yeah.
So why have they got all these details here which are supported?
Who is they? Netflix.
Who has sent all these things?
Correct. So I'm sorry?
Who has sent all this stuff to him?
I've no idea. I think he's probably made it up himself.
I mean, you could prove, I guess, quite easily it wasn't you.
Correct.
Because it'd all be on your computer.
Yeah, correct. That's right.
Would you be happy for someone to look at that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
What do you have? What technology do you use?
Right, what technology do I use? A very, very old smartphone just now, because the other one packed up a week before moving. That's it.
Because they're all sent from an iPhone.
Yes, so...
But they believe it wasn't actually an iPhone ever being used.
Meaning what
Meaning
kind
that
of
someone
phone?
was hiding the fact that they were actually not using it. They were pretending it was from an iPhone.
I don't really understand that.
Well, people can mask where they're sending stuff from.
Okay, right. I'm not Technology Whiz Kid of the Year. I wasn't doing that either.
I mean, obviously, when you make such an emphatic denial of the central point of the story, you're basically accusing both him but also Netflix of lying about it.
I am.
And that's pretty defamatory.
I am.
It's not defamatory if it's true.
No, it's defamatory that they've been to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I misunderstood there. Yes, exactly. I don't see how anyone could do 41,000 emails and all this kind of stuff, you know.
I don't know how much you know about technology, but are you aware that if it was you sending those emails, it would be very easy for the police, for example, to work out exactly where they come from. The IP address would reveal that.
Yes, I understand that, and it stays on forever. But the point is, this was years and years ago. We were congratulating him.
But it would all still be there.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah.
And if you sent 41,000 emails,
this is just a lot of rubbish. Yeah, so that should be stored there.
Well, they'd all be there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got them.
He's not got 41,000 emails. That's over a year.
Well, according to you, there's only a handful.
Yeah. I mean, how long would that take someone to type up?
How many do you think you sent him?
A handful.
Like
that.
What does that mean? How many?
Less than 10.
10 emails.
Not 41,000.
Right, there's a massive disparity between the two.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if it's not you that sent all this, then clearly Martha cannot be you.
Yes, Martha cannot be me because there are a number of allegations that have been put to me by journalists that are simply not true. There's a whole play. It's not just the emails. There's a sexual assault in the canal. There's...
But if the police looked at this and if you sue, for example, then this will go to a court of law. And then on discovery, people will look into all this. The phone company will be asked about evidence of all the text messages. The internet providers will provide all the backup for the emails. Facebook will be asked about the Facebook messages and so on. So all of this would come out in a court case.
In disclosure, yes.
And you're prepared to do that?
Yes. Because I didn't write him the emails.
Who do you think did?
I have no idea. I think he probably made them up himself. I've no idea. 41,000 emails.
Yeah. I mean, would
I don't know.
Would you accept that someone who did that would be very...
Sorry. This is just a really sad situation. Like I said, I'm trying my best here to not go down a path where I'm laughing at this woman because I feel as though that she... I don't understand how it's even remotely possible by any stretch of the imagination that Netflix, big Netflix, with as much money and people on their payroll as they've got, to be like, oh, you see you with your little play that you've been doing, that's not even little, that's been doing the rounds on Broadway. We're gonna put you on our platform, right? And we're going to say that this person that you're depicting has sent you 41,000 emails and how much hundreds voicemails and this with your family, but we're not going to corroborate any of that. It's all just on your say-so. And if that person that you're depicting ever comes forward and decides to sue us, we'll just wing it. It's fine. I'm not buying it. 41,000. I'm not buying it.
Obsessive about someone.
Yes, I mean that's a lot of emails. And why now? Why didn't you go to the police at the time? Or this sort of doesn't make sense.
I mean, the fact that Netflix have said this is based on reality, this is a true story that Martha did, the real life Martha, the person they based this on, who Richard Gadd has written about, is the person that sent these, and he has the evidence to prove it. What you're saying is that proves you cannot be Martha.
Yes, and I would like to see Netflix's evidence for that, which would come out in disclosure as well.
And you're 100% sure it's not you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It goes on to say that you heckled Richard Gadd when he was appearing in his stand-up shows. Did you ever do that?
No.
Never?
No, it's not.
Did you ever attend his stand-up?
I think I went to one. It was a long time ago.
And you never shouted out or anything?
Why would I do that? No.
I don't know.
No. I mean,
do you ever shout out at comedy shows? I don't know. People do.
No. I don't generally go to comedy shows. But
so why did you go to that one? Why did you go to that one?
Did you ever attack Richard Gadd's girlfriend because you were jealous?
No, I don't think he had a girlfriend. I think he's homosexual. But no, I have never been to his house or attacked any girlfriend or anything like that.
There are lots of scenes where Martha...
Sorry, I think it's because, again, in the show, she also is because she's been rejected because of this new girlfriend. And obviously everything he's gone through, it's a very complex bit of emotions that he goes through in terms of like, you know, what his sexuality actually is, you know, how, you know, what stuff if you've seen it you understand. But she kind of uses that as a bit of a, again, in Netflix, to be like, as something to hurt him with. And I don't know, I kind of feel as though that like the mannerisms, like I don't know, man, like this is really bizarre, because the actress that was acting, I feel like she's in the interview room right now. Do you know what I mean? This is mad. And Fiona's saying that this never happened, and I think he's homosexual. Like, okay.
Is sitting outside his house all day for many days, sitting in a bus stop, sitting out there, walking around, and would occasionally shout at him. Did you ever do that?
No, I haven't seen the show, but I'm getting.
I have. So I'm telling you.
Yes, I got all the court allegations, the trial allegations.
I'm going to come to that, but on that point, did you ever turn up at his house?
No, I don't know. I don't know where he lived. No, absolutely not.
So whoever's doing all this is somebody completely different.
This is a fictional character, hyperbole, exaggeration. This is a fiction.
Well, it's based on
of his imagination.
They say it's based on a real person.
Who's they? Netflix?
Well, Netflix and Richard Gadd.
Netflix are about as mad as Richard Gadd. If they're saying that, it's absolutely not correct.
Did you ever contact Richard Gadd's parents and threaten them?
No, that allegation was put to me by journalists. No.
Never happened?
No.
There's one key point in the drama.
No.
That,
What was, did you say, I'm about to say something else then. What was that? I'm sorry. You had, like, if this was a guy, right, and a guy was in this position, I don't know whether or not they'd even get the platform to give this right of reply. But I don't even think it'd be even a case of being like, oh well, maybe I believe you. I think it'd just be a case of I don't believe you. There's too many things, and there's too many bits where you're like, well, actually that was kind of the case then. So it definitely is you then. If you did email him at some point, you did tweet him at some point, if you did turn up to one of his shows at some point, like, it's you. It's you then, isn't it? Like,
it has Martha's character pleading guilty to intimidating Richard Gadd in court and sentenced to 9 months prison time. Let's watch.
You're charged with the stalking of Mr. Donald Dunn between the dates of the 14th of August 2015 and the 22nd of March 2017. Are you guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You are charged with the harassment of Gerald Dunn and Eleanor Dunn between the dates of the 6th of June 2016 and the 22nd of March 2017. Are you guilty or not guilty?
Guilty. My little reindeer.
Now, again, there is obviously a resemblance between...
Do you think so?
Well, a bit, but
That's hardly flattery.
Well, I don't mean to flatter you or not flatter you. I just think there is a resemblance, you know, having met you, and you both speak Scottish people.
She said, don't you compare me to... Honestly, what is even life? Like, what is going on in the world, man? Because this is insane. This is genuinely. This is like part 2. This is like a part 2. And to be fair, I was watching while she was watching that. To be fair, I don't know what she was giving while she was watching it.
People, but the fundamental point of this is: did you take part in that? So did you go to jail? Did you have a trial?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Have you ever been to prison?
No.
Have you ever been charged with a criminal offence?
No.
Never?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
So that scene is completely invented?
That's completely false, and I don't think the actress sounds like me. I mean, people compare me to Lorraine Kelly, but I look nothing like Lorraine Kelly. We all happen to have dark hair, and we're Scottish. You know, I think the actress is from Glasgow, I think, but I'm not sure.
But
I'm not from Glasgow.
You know what, though? I will give her the Lorraine Kelly thing. You know, she does like a little piece like Lorraine. She does like a little piece like.
And which part of Scotland are you from?
I'm from the Central Belt.
So a slightly different accent.
It's slightly different.
A Scot would know the difference.
A Scot would know the difference. A Glasgow accent's very different.
But that's a fundamental point here, because if they basically have a key point in their drama, which they say is a true story, which involves you admitting to intimidating Richard Gadd and getting a 9-month prison sentence, and that is completely untrue.
That's completely untrue. Very, very defamatory to me. Very career damaging. And I wanted to rebut that completely on this show. I'm not a stalker. I've not been to jail. I've not got injunctions, interdicts. This is just complete nonsense. But you'll know yourself, if you're charged with a criminal offence, it will go fine, bigger fine, whatever. Very few people go to jail.
Well, you'd have a police record
nowadays.
Yeah. Have you ever changed your name?
My surname was double-barrelled.
What was it?
Muir Harvey. So Muir Harvey.
M-U-I-R.
Yes.
Harvey.
When the parents got divorced, I changed it to Harvey. I just dropped.
So your maiden name when you were born was?
Yeah, that's right.
Was
Muir. Yes.
Muir Harvey.
Yeah.
So that's quite an unusual name.
Yeah.
So if you'd ever received a criminal conviction for anything, it would be on police files.
Yes.
And what you're saying is you've never been even charged with an offence.
No.
So hang on then, because this is a very good point, right? And this is the only bit that so far has made me go, okay, maybe something's not quite right. If in the show she was depicted as having pled guilty and therefore being convicted of a crime, and therefore facing sentencing, whatever that sentence was, would there not be a record of that? So with the internet sleuthing, doing all the internet sleuthing they've already done to find this woman, how has the internet not then also been like, oh, well, here's what she was convicted of, here are the charges, here's what she was sentenced with? Because surely Piers wouldn't be in the position where he is asking her the question. He'd be like, I'm going to ask you, but here's what we found. So I'm a bit confused as to how... I mean, I guess there's all kind of data protection as to why people can't just access people's criminal records and stuff. But, you know, they've already broken this fourth wall, like, by bringing this woman under the TV. So
Let alone the one that they...
Yes, I mean, this is 9.5 months in jail is pretty serious.
Did Netflix ever contact you?
No, no one's contacted me.
Never?
Never.
Did Richard Gadd tell you what he was doing?
No, I had worked it out when I saw the festival Baby Reindeer advert on BBC.
The Edinburgh Festival,
News,
which is the show he did.
I just happened to see that. I was looking up the news for something else.
Because that's where he
I just happened to see that.
Well, that's where he started telling the story, and that got picked up.
I'm shocked. And I think Martha then was a bar stool. I seem to recall reading that. It wasn't an actress or a person, it was a bar stool.
Let me just show a little clip. This is from Lorraine, actually, who you just compared yourself to. But let's take a look at this.
Well, other people do.
This is Richard Gadd on Lorraine.
I just thought it was the right time to sort of try and bring a nuanced conversation to something. I think the human condition is extremely complicated, and I felt like a lot of art and TV in this day and age had maybe simplified it too much.
It's not a villain and victim storyline. I think you're left with a lot more than that. It's kind of two lost people.
What's your response to that?
I think they're milking it for all it's worth for the money. She doesn't even sound Scottish in that interview. Her accent seems to be varying.
Well, she's not. She's English. She's an actress.
I was going to say it sounds more Lancashire to me. Yeah,
no, she's English. She's an actress. She's putting on the voice for you.
They're milking it for all they're worth. It was the right time to abuse someone all over social media and all over, basically somebody who's not from Loveyland, not from Theatreland, just abused me all over the newspapers. If they're happy with themselves.
What do you feel about Richard Gadd?
I think he's psychotic, and I think that anyone going along, being in that play, and doing this to somebody, I find the behaviour outrageous.
He says the whole thing started because he felt sorry for you, and that's why he befriended you. Your
staff said that to me in the waiting room. This is a lot of nonsense. I've got lots of friends.
What did you talk to him about?
It was just a holy arms banter. It was...
like what? What kind of...
what you're going to do with your life, or, career stuff, sort of... And I thought he was a stand-up show.
But is it possible he was under the impression that he felt sorry for you?
No, I never got that impression at all. I got the impression that he was all out for himself, wanted to sort of control that bar, very, very inarticulate, very full of himself. I should never have gone in that bar.
So, again, this is why I mean the thing about the criminal record is a big thing. There's a big alarm bell in my head, and I'm like, well, what's that then? Like, how do we justify that? But you cannot tell me, in the one hand, that this person is obnoxious and full of himself and inarticulate and, you know, controlling. I'm kind of obsessed with her. And then you wind up and end up at his stand-up. Why would you go there? You wouldn't at all. And you'd probably have one conversation with one person and be like, oh, actually, you're not my kind of person. Like, you wouldn't continue to talk to them. You just wouldn't. So I don't buy that at all.
Do you wish you never had?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
How long did you know him for, Richard Gadd?
2 or 3 months.
Long time to know someone.
He only worked there on certain days.
And did you always go on the days he worked there?
No, I've been in there on different days having food.
Have other people from the pub contacted you?
Nobody's contacted me.
No one at all?
About this at all, apart from the media. The mainstream media and stalkers on social media.
He says, Richard Gadd, he didn't see you as a villain, but as somebody who is unwell and needs help.
Yeah, well, he maybe should look a bit closer to home, to himself, as someone who needs help.
What, you think he's mentally unwell?
Yes, I think he always was. Whether there was an alleged rape or whether that rape was real or conceived in his mind, I think that would make him more
I mean, that's a rape that he
unwell.
says happened.
Mhm.
It was a television person. We don't know who it was. Somebody was falsely linked with it, who turns out to have nothing to do with it. But it's a very graphic scene in the drama where
I
he
heard
is
that.
brutally raped after a lot of drugs are taken. And he's kind of he appears to be, in the drama, very self-reflective about himself. So he's no angel, he's not perfect, he's made lots of mistakes, and he didn't treat you, in his eyes, as a villain, like he says, as somebody he felt that you were both slightly lost souls.
I didn't know the rape scene was in the play until this morning. Somebody's daughter had watched it and told me about it. So I was surprised once again. Well, not surprised, actually. I'm rarely surprised by anything he does nowadays. He seems to have written a couple of other shows about this alleged rape, then this one. And we've had no apologies from Netflix or him or nothing. I mean, for someone who says he feels sorry for me, I've had no apology, and I have this Martha character seems to have smashed up a bar, sexually assaulted him in a canal, been to prison. There are a number of other allegations
And none of that is true.
That's not true.
He says that people shouldn't try to find out the identity of the real people in the drama. Do you give him credit for that?
No.
He actually tweeted this. People I love, have worked with and admire, including Sean Foley, who was the man wrongly accused of being the rapist, are unfairly getting caught up in speculation. Please don't speculate on who any of the real-life people could be. That's not the point of our show. Lots of love, Richard.
Piers, I'm sorry, I can't see the date of that tweet. I can't actually see any of it.
That was literally like a few days after it was released.
Right, so. I saw the headline. It was all over BBC Breaking News 2 weekends ago for 4 days. With Martha promoting herself, the character Martha, Jessica, promoting herself, and him saying, don't speculate. Wow, that's a bit rich now, isn't it? The fans do speculate.
Well, it was almost instantaneous. You were tracked down incredibly quickly.
The Wednesday, the Daily Mail got in touch with me, so that was all over BBC Breaking News Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday.
I mean, the reason that internet sleuths were able to find out it was you was they found the tweets that you sent him throughout 2014. 10th of May, for example, 2014. Yeah. Richard Gadd, did you get my recorded delivery letter sent to the theatre, sent to arrive bank holiday Monday? So you sent him a letter then?
That was that, sorry, to hear you were raped, something like that.
12th of June, same year, your tweets cheer me up, your timeline is good. 23rd of September, my curtains need hung badly.
We were trying to encourage him because with this first show or something like that. It's a long time ago.
You know, on the 18th of December, please go and see Richard Gadd's show. It's well written and neurotic.
Yeah.
The filmed bum shots are the best. Fantastic ass.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
But
we were trying to encourage him.
Nothing negative, though, about it there.
No, because I didn't think he was a complete psychopath who was going to attack me in this way.
But the show did involve you.
This show here, not that show there.
That made no reference to...
This was a previous show.
It made no reference to you, that show.
Which show?
The one you're talking about.
Yes. So, you know, it's funny this is coming up now. My view is it's all about the money. The Martha Barstow Edinburgh Festival thing wasn't making any money. He'd failed as a comedian, he'd failed as an actor, and therefore, let's make some money, sell this to Netflix. I think anyone in their right mind, you had a group of guys on there in their 20s, they don't believe it.
Can I ask you, what was your upbringing like?
I was going to say standard Scottish, singing standard Scottish countryside.
Happy? I mean, happy upbringing?
Impoverished, but middle-class upbringing, if you like.
Any siblings?
I have a sister. My mother worked incredibly hard. My parents got divorced when I was 9, but she worked like a Trojan.
Are either parents still alive?
My mother is, yeah.
And how does she feel about this?
I've not talked to her about it. I'm hoping she'll have just seen the Scottish headlines and that's it. She's not an internet freak or anything like that.
But she has no idea what's happened to you then?
She will know bits. And she was very, very angry with Laura Walker for doing the original article when I went for parliamentary
You haven't talked to your mother about this?
No, and that may seem strange, but I don't want to worry her. I'll tell her I've been on this show when it airs. I don't want to worry her.
Let me ask you,
the Sun reported an
interview with Laura Ray, who you've referenced, who accused you of inappropriate behaviour whilst you worked with her. Now, the background to this is that you came into contact with the late Glasgow MP Jimmy Ray, who died aged 78 in 2013, and his solicitor wife Laura, who was 62, and she was a former Labour Party member. Mrs Ray said that she gave Aberdeen University law graduate you did graduate from Aberdeen?
Yes.
With a law degree. A trainee role at the legal firm MacPhail Lawrence Partnership in 1997. Is that true?
It was called L&L Lawrence. I think she forgets the name of her own firm. It was called L&L Lawrence.
But that's all true. She gave you a trainee job.
She lured me away from another firm. She headhunted me from another firm because she needed someone to do employment law. And I'm pretty good at employment law, so... She
said that she had to sack you days later because you were completely incapable of behaving yourself.
I walked. Her staff were really, really rude to me. Most people, half the Labour Party, had been up there at one point or another and walked.
She then said that following you leaving, obviously very quickly, that you then harassed her. You were then known as Fiona Muir, obviously, as you said, Fiona Harvey. Mrs Ray said she was so frightened she issued workers at her firm with personal alarms. You were then served an interim interdict to stop you from contacting the lawyer or her politician husband. Daily Record reported that.
She messed up, I know, and I've still to speak to David about that, the author of that Daily Record article. She didn't. She messed up because I went into the Court of Session, the High Court in Edinburgh, to get countrywide interdicts, an interdict and an injunction in Scotland and England because I was going to move to London anyway. She mucked up.
Sorry, you went into court to get them yourself?
Yes, but there was
who?
no need against Laura Walker and Jimmy Ray.
But she said one was served on you.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
An interim
we have checked this out.
And again, there would be a public record of
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And
you're saying that it was never served?
What we think, she served the initial documents and then
she did?
No. She served the initial documents and then there was no hearing. It wasn't minuted for a hearing. I said I would defend, but she mucked that up too. She didn't fill up a second initial document. She then didn't minute for decree in absence. So there is no interim interdict in Scotland.
Why would two people who have no contact with each other at all?
I know where he's going with this. I mean, this is a very valid point to me. And if, you know, if we're talking about the court of public opinion, because if I'm honest, there's a few things in here that she's articulating far better than I expected. And the fact that, you know, she did graduate with a law degree, so she actually has got some... I mean, you know, just because you graduate doesn't make you a lawyer, though. Do you know what I mean? So who knows what she did afterwards, but... And obviously she got what this Laura woman saying that she got sacked from there, so wasn't there very long. But it is very interesting that two separate people can be talking about this very, very similar type of behaviour, this harassment, this fear. This isn't regular. This isn't regular kind of activity for people just be talking about you. So that again gives me like, you got form, ma'am. You got form.
Laura Ray and Richard Gadd. Why would they both portray you as a very unpleasant harasser?
I don't know why Richard Gadd has, but Laura Walker, it was certainly because I was going for parliamentary selection.
The two different, you get my point, two different people.
Yeah, but Richard Gadd has Googled that. Richard Gadd has used that as
well, that's in the drama.
Show.
Is when they find out that you had previously harassed this family.
I haven't harassed that family. I didn't harass that family. And also I worked for in 1987, 88. The parliamentary selection wasn't until 2000. He Googled up the article because I knew he'd done that. I never went back to the Holy Arms. He was spreading it around Camden that I was a stalker. So
you've never married?
No.
Have you had relationships
boyfriends,
with men? I mean, if you don't mind me being pure,
I'm heterosexual.
Yeah, I mean, how many relationships have you had?
I told the staff that relationships were out of bounds. A lot more than Richard Gadd has, I would say.
I mean, he had a lot.
Quite a few.
Right.
Well, I don't know if he had a lot. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how.
And obviously, now you're going,
Yeah.
public. Then the men that you've dated over the years will see this.
Yeah.
They'll be aware of it. They'll hear you.
I don't think if your next question is going to be, am I stalking them? I think the answer is going to be no.
Well, no, I just wonder how do you think they would view you?
I think they are going to think what I think about Richard Gadd, that he's completely off his head. And I'm not worried about the current one because he's a lawyer and he.
So you currently have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
He's a lawyer?
Yeah.
In London?
Doesn't matter where he is.
I'd
rather.
No, I understand, but how long have you been?
5 years.
You've been in a 5-year relationship.
Yeah, so I don't.
So what does he think?
I don't want to drag him in. He thinks this is horrendous. All of my lawyer friends do, all of my professional friends do, other people do. People are being really sympathetic. People I don't know are saying things like, "Are you getting hounded in the street?" You know, people are being really, really nice.
I mean,
anyone who does know about this.
You know, here's the thing. I don't know the truth. You do. And you've been emphatic in the number of denials you're making here.
That's right.
But many of those things that I've put to you can be proven.
You're talking about emails and an email trail thing.
All that.
You know, all of that. You're obsessed with... sorry, I don't mean to be horrible.
I'm not obsessed with anything.
You've gone on at length for a good 10 minutes about the emails.
Well, only because the emails...
Because it's a vast number.
Well, there's a huge number.
Her back is getting up, isn't it?
The voice messages he's kept apparently, and there is.
He was maybe typing me in the Holy Arms. I don't know if he's got any voicemail.
But if he has 350 voice messages and it's you,
it doesn't mean the drama is true.
But is it possible he's got 350 voice messages?
I doubt that very much.
It doesn't mean the drama's true if the recordings are you. Did I just hear that correctly? So what would prove that it's you then? If it's not you on those voicemails, what's going to prove that it's true? That would be like the surefire way. And for me, like I mean, she's talking about him being obsessed. Yeah, this is just. I mean, she's a lawyer. So, have you never been in like a cross-examination where people are like pulling your evidence to pieces and whatever? Isn't that like part of it? You know, even if it's not front to face with advocacy, like if it's just like letter to letter when they're going back and forth, like people will pick you up on your stuff. So you being like, oh, you're obsessed about this. Well, yeah, because you've come on national television, Fiona, allegedly. You've come on national television to say that this is not you. You're calling one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world liars. You're calling Richard Gadd a liar. Man's come on here talking about his whole situation and whatever and calling him a liar. So, yeah, I'm going to say to you again that these things can actually be, like, verified, audited, which, again, it's giving someone who isn't, you know, strong with the faculties in all aspects, because that wouldn't be something that you'd get you back up about. You'd be like, of course, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Come check what you want. So
I don't think so.
You doubt it?
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, unless
Wouldn't
he's
you
been
be
taping me.
I mean, if you've never really contacted him, if he's
He
got
could have
three,
been taping me in the Holy Arms, though.
but if he's got 350,
I've not contacted
but if these
him.
are on his phone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they're on a phone, tablet, whatever they're on. I've not contacted
But I'm curious,
him.
why would there even be a possibility of him having that number of voice messages from you?
Because he's crazy. He wants to make this up. I mean, I've not phoned the guy. I don't have his number.
Yeah, but you're not sure that he hasn't got those.
I think the only explanation for having a voicemail from me would be taping me in the Holy Arms. That's the only place we've
Or
ever
that you've
met.
left messages on his phone.
That's the other explanation, which just didn't happen.
You can't be sure.
I can't be sure because I didn't have his number.
Right, you just said you weren't sure if these were your voice messages.
Yeah, what I mean is somebody could be taping me. You know, somebody could have taped me in the Holy Arms.
Right,
On a dictaphone or something
But if
like that.
here's my point to you, is
Yeah.
that these are easily provable things.
Yeah.
He's either got them or he hasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll
And the
be
emails-
asking for disclosure of that. But
And the emails, obviously, there'll be an IP address, and that if
Yeah,
that, if
I
that
mean-
leads to you,
yeah, I mean, my point is, though, even if that were true, I didn't lunge at him across the bar. I didn't sexually assault him in a canal. I didn't go to jail.
I understand.
So,
but here's my point to you.
yeah.
Here's my point to you, Fiona. And I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm not trying to trap you. I'm genuinely fascinated by this story. I watched the drama. I saw them declare it at the start as a true story. And I've seen the interviews since with all various people. And it's clearly a very complex situation, this. But unless I'm mishearing you, I think what you're saying is there is a possibility that you send a lot of emails
No,
and there's a lot of
no,
voice
I
messages,
didn't say
but that
that.
it doesn't mean that you did the more serious things.
Yeah, I am not saying at all that
That
I
is
sent
kind of
loads
what
of
she said.
emails. You maybe misheard, play back the interview. What I'm saying is a handful at most. If I did, congratulations about the show.
But if he does
etc.
have 350 voice messages,
I know that he doesn't.
and it's your voice,
He doesn't.
and everyone can now hear your voice,
Unless he was taping me in the Holy Arms.
or he just kept them on his phone.
I didn't phone him. You sound unconvinced, but
No,
I
no,
didn't
I'm not.
phone him.
I'm,
Yeah,
honestly,
I mean, what?
No. So is your point that are you challenging him to reveal this evidence?
No, I would
No.
challenge him to leave me alone.
Because you're calling him a liar, and you're
Yeah.
calling Netflix accomplice.
I
to
didn't
these
use
lies.
those words. I said the story, the play, the Netflix show is not true.
No, but if they say that
Same
you
thing.
sent 41,000 emails,
Well, they
350
are
voice
completely
messages.
wrong.
all 744
They're
tweets,
completely wrong.
so they are lying.
They are lying. Yes, okay, yeah, in effect, he is lying and they are lying. And in order for a dramatisation to be true, it's got to be, the only defences are veritas, I'm telling the truth, or the whole drama needs to be true. They have billed it as a true story, so has he, and it's not. It's blatantly
That legal
not.
backing is
Even if
kinda
the
lacking
email thing
there.
was true, the rest is not. So
Why
what-
would you qualify that, Fiona?
Sorry, why would I what?
Why would you suddenly qualify even if it's true about the emails?
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Right.
Yeah, but why
when you
would
say
you?
even if the emails were true,
I didn't send him 41.
it doesn't mean the more serious stuff is.
Let me rephrase that.
That's really what you're saying, right? I mean, I don't want to force you into saying anything
Yeah,
that's
I mean-
not actually true, but it seems to me that it may be possible that you have communicated all this stuff with him, but that doesn't mean you did the more serious thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's
mean
true.
It doesn't mean you attacked his girlfriend. It doesn't mean you smashed
Yeah.
up a bar.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you did any of those things or threatened anybody. It just, yes, you had a relationship with this guy, and you did contact him a lot.
I knew this guy. I didn't contact him a lot. I've never said that in this interview at all.
No, but but interestingly, for me, as an interviewer, and I'm just trying to get to the truth. You understand? That?
No, I
honestly not trying to
see that. It's your show.
I'm
yeah,
not trying
no,
to
I
trip
see
you
that.
up. I'm just trying to get to the
I
truth.
see that.
He has put his version out there, and the world has watched it.
Absolutely.
Millions and millions of people around the world have
I
had Richard Gadd's
know.
version.
I know.
And I'm simply saying to you that
Yeah.
you have a chance here, Fiona, I think, and take this any way you want, but you have a chance here to concede that some of these things might be possible, but that doesn't mean the more serious things.
Yeah,
happened.
I mean, what I'm saying is...
Because the more serious stuff we know is serious, right? If you were...
if you were in the jail or something...
If you were a violent
serious,
stalker, or if you'd had a previous situation where you got this interim incident, which we know was served on you...
No, it was not. Sorry to interrupt there. No, she has repeatedly maintained this over 25 years. I checked with the Sheriff Clark. Another lawyer checked with the Sheriff Clark. We think that the previous scenario happened. She does not have an interim interdict. I think she's quite wrong.
Okay.
If the Sheriff Clark can produce that and say she didn't muck up and minuted for decree, why was I not served an interim injunction?
If Richard Gadd is watching this, what's your message to him?
Leave me alone, please. Get a life, get a proper job. I am horrified at what you've done.
And you will categorically be taking legal action?
Absolutely, against both him and Netflix.
You said your boyfriend's a lawyer, so this can be done
He's
very
not doing it, no. I'm not doing it. Somebody else is going to
Have you
doing
instructed
it.
lawyers?
We've instructed them in part, but we want to explore all the options out there. There are a number of people to sue. We can't all be in 10 courts all at once. So,
who else are you planning to sue?
The Daily Mail. Anyone that's saying this is true and harassing me and that kind of thing. We have not had time to do everything.
If the investigation, if you sue and there's discovery, and it turns out that 41,000 emails did come from a device belonging to you, how would you feel about that?
I wouldn't be suing if I thought there were 41,000 emails out there.
You understand how easy it is to find them.
I understand completely.
That's like the 6th or 7th time you said that.
If they did exist, and you're categoric that they didn't, it would obviously.
It wouldn't blow the whole case. It wouldn't blow the case against Netflix and it wouldn't blow the case against him.
No, you might well have
making out it's a true story.
No.
If you see what I mean, I'm back to my original position.
I understand, and I understand that it's obviously put your life into a very difficult position.
It's very.
And their central claim that they made all this effort not to lead to you being identified, I don't think stands water.
I don't think it stands water.
To me, it's pretty. I could have listen. I've been a journalist 40 years. I could have discovered it was you in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Once I'd watched.
Yes, I agree. I discovered it was me when I saw the BBC breaking news Baby Reindeer show at the Edinburgh Festival, when I was Googling up just the news that day or the weather or something, and this came up, and he was holding up a placard or a newspaper article, MP's wife stalker, all you need to do is Google that. Then I saw the name of the show and I thought, bloody hell, what's he up to? And I tried to get a friend to go see the show because she was based in Edinburgh, but she was on holiday. Nobody I know had seen that show either. So I was really shocked. I was very upset for 2-3 days. And then the general plan of action among my close friends was, look, just let him get on with things. He's not going to be that damaging. You don't really know him. This will go away.
When did you last have any contact with him?
Famous last words. Years ago.
Do you remember when?
Years ago, no. I left the Holy Arms, didn't go back, and he was calling me a stalker and things. And there were various things happening in the Holy Arms. Other women were warning me about them and everything. Yeah.
About him?
About him and others with bad conduct.
In relation to the 106 letters that he and Netflix say you sent, well, here's my point. You've admitted sending him one, and that presumably was a handwritten letter.
Could it be, are you thinking I was maybe mistaken, that I maybe did?
No. I'm just saying, if we accept that the one that you admit to sending is in your own handwriting, he has another 105 letters in your handwriting.
Nonsense. It's nonsense.
Are you prepared for him to show that one?
He's maybe forged things. I mean, people forge a lot of things nowadays.
You think he could successfully write 105 letters to himself?
Well, I certainly didn't.
No, but you admit to sending one. My point is, if it turns out the other 105 are exactly the same handwriting, wouldn't that point to maybe...
we would obviously bring in handwriting experts. I didn't do it.
You only had sent one letter?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't sent that guy 106 letters.
Do you still email people?
What do you mean?
Do you send emails?
Yeah.
Do you have the same email address you've always had?
I had 6 at one point.
Why?
because I like to keep people on different phones and different emails.
Six different email accounts?
Maybe 4. I think it's 4 to 6, yeah. It's
Was it four-
easier.
four or
it's
six?
easier. So you have some for your utilities, some for close friends, whatever. Yeah.
Sorry. I haven't said anything for like the last 10 minutes. I'm just like, I feel like I've entered like the sunken place or something, and I'm like, I don't really know what's what anymore, because the more that I'm listening to her, I'm like, could she be telling the truth? Could she be telling the truth though? Because, but then I'm like, it doesn't make not a piece of sense. 4 to 6 emails. Who has 4 to 6 emails? Like, I can understand if you've got a business and you've got like a sales and a this and a whatever, but she said she likes to keep different people on different things. That's some stalkerish mindset already. What for? That's your email. You know how many people I know have got the same MSN email they had from back a day? Like, mine is ridiculous. Like, it's still got my stupid name that I had. So to have 6 different emails, I don't buy that. And, you know, I will say, well, I'll say this at the end, but I think Piers has been quite good in how he's kept coming back to they're going to look, and they're going to be able to find it if you are lying, right? Because you are calling these all liars. So the fact that you're saying that they might find something, and then she's kind of changed them out now to be like, no, they're not going to find nothing. I wouldn't be suing someone if I thought there was 41,000 messages out there. But she changed them out because that's not what she said originally.
6 is a lot.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know anybody with 6 email addresses.
You don't know many people then. I know people with 4 or 6 emails address.
Or was it 4 or 6?
I can't remember. Probably 6.
How many do you use today?
I had 4 phones. I've got 1 today, but I only email select friends.
And you have 4 phones?
Yeah, 2 broke. They were very, very old. 1 was brand new and broke, and it's still to be returned to the shop. I like keeping people on separate phones as well. And maybe that makes me a maniac or a stalker or something, but if you've got somebody on about your electricity bill or somebody on about some work or something, it's nice to keep it separate, you know. So I didn't do that in Scotland, you didn't have to, but the volume of calls
do you think,
here
Fiona, do you think if somebody did send someone 41,000 emails,
I can't believe I just said that I wasn't quite sure if she was kind of saying that. Like, can I just retract that? Can we just forget that I said that? Who has 4 to 6 phones? Yeah, unless you are some next level business person, even then, or like, you know, you're someone about that trap life. Why have we got so many burners? 1 phone, 1 time, 1 number for all contacts. Why would someone decide, no, I need to have a whole separate phone and a whole separate
That's
number?
excessive, obviously.
For this contact. I don't know anyone in my life like that hasn't got something going on.
Well, yes and no. I mean, it could be it could be your wife. It could be you're maybe sending emails every day about the kids or something like that. I don't know. 41,000 is a lot. That's how many a day? My maths isn't working this time of night. But it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean they're stalking somebody. They could be great friends. You know, they could have been friends for 50 years or something.
Was he ever your friend, Richard Gadd?
No. Staff asked me that as well. No, I don't think so.
But you had a lot of banter with him.
Yeah, but banter's one thing. Scottish banter down here is quite kind of welcome. You know, it's not really fun city, is it? It's not jokey city.
Were you ever in love with him?
Yes. Is that a serious question?
Yeah.
No.
No. It's not a question of, by his own admission, he has said that he led you on at times. And he clearly
I gave him the brush off. He asked me to sleep with him with a big green spot in his face one day. I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
He asked you to do what?
He asked me to sleep with him. He said, would I like my curtains fixed? And I laughed. And he said, that's a euphemism. Do you want me to come home with you? And I said, I've got a boyfriend. I gave him the brush off big time, I think. You know, it was subtly so, but the bottom line is, I think this is behind him. No, I don't fancy him. I don't fancy little boys without jobs. That sounds awful. That sounds really, really callous, but, you know.
People will watch this who've watched the Netflix.
Thing is, that's one of the clips that I saw on Instagram, yeah. And honest, but now seeing it in context with everything else, I'm like, fam, like that's probably the most Martha part that I've seen so far. Like that whole bit there because she said earlier, that she was never really interested in him. Why is it only now that she mentions that he asked to sleep with her? Why is it only now? Like, wouldn't that be one of the first things out of your mouth that he propositioned me and I told him, absolutely, you and your green spot, absolutely not. He never said that. Listen, I can only give my opinion. Like, I'm not saying it's a fact, I'm just giving my opinion. My opinion is a she.
Series. And like me, they will be trying to work out where the truth lies. It seems to me that either you're innocent in the way that you've claimed to be, and you've been horribly defamed here. I think at the very least, the Netflix duty of care and Richard Gadd's duty of care has been a spectacular failure.
I agree.
Agreed.
Regardless of
I would
anything
agree with
else.
that. I would agree with
Regardless
that.
of your culpability of anything, the duty of care has failed because people identified you incredibly quickly. So they've made this what they say is a true story, and everyone's worked out it's you, and the picture they paint is of a completely crazed stalker ruining a man's life, albeit he accepts that some of his behaviour may have led the person on.
Can I ask a question? Do you happen to know how much he's made out of this Netflix thing?
I would imagine several £1 million.
Yes, I would say 3 to 4 million. A lawyer I know well thought he was a wee nobody, and he suggested 750 to 100,000. I said, no, I think you're looking more about 3 or 4 million. And I think the more he publicises, it goes up. According to how much it's streamed. I don't know what the contract they signed. I think he's done bloody well out of defaming me.
Do you resent that?
I don't resent any Scot getting on. This is not what this is about.
But he's effectively making money out of what he says.
He's making money out of
what
my
he says
misery,
is you stalking him.
Yeah, he's making money out of untrue facts. He's been the ultimate misogynist. The actress was also not appealing for calm. He was appealing for calm. I think he did that to sort of stir things up more. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. And I think your staff were talking about Martha, the sequel or something like this. It's just completely
That's what people are hinting at.
It's completely crazy. Well, your staff put that to me and put to me, should I write a book about this? Well, I've got other things to do, but it's a possibility.
You got a law degree.
Yeah.
Law degree, so you're obviously very bright. How did you do at school?
I've got a photographic memory. I was top of the school, apart from the science.
Which school was that?
Balfour High.
Did she just say she got a photographic memory? Because I hear people throwing that term around, I'm Sheldon Cooper. But look how many things she couldn't really remember. It's like, oh yeah, it could have been 4, could have been 6 phones. Oh, it could have been 6 emails or 18 emails or less than 10, but definitely not. You got photographic memory. Got a photographic memory. She said she never sent him many letters, and then said, "Oh, actually, no, I did send one letter. Actually, and I come to think, I did send that one letter that one time." Photographic memory. Photographic memory. People don't forget nothing.
I went to the science. Person got the most marks because you can get 99%.
How many O and A levels did you end up with?
I got 6 hires, 2 SYSs, and they were all most were A band 1s, which was when the A-band 1 was top of the thing. And
with your law degree, what grade did you get?
Not bad. I mean, all right.
What was
it? I just did an ordinary degree and then a diploma in legal practice.
Well, what grades did you get
degree. For them? All right grades. But, I went out
what were they?
partying. I didn't do an honours degree. So, just bog standard grades,
What
really.
degree did you did a law degree? Or?
I did a law degree with 13 subjects. 13 law subjects, so it wasn't the CPE or anything, which I also have from down here, but it was 13 law subjects.
This is from Aberdeen University?
Yeah.
So what degree did you end up with?
A law degree, and then I did a politics degree after that.
And what grade did you get for
women's studies. I did substantially better in that because I did more work. I think in our day, when you went to university...
There's a reason you got a photographic memory, but what grade did you get?
all right grades. I mean, not top of the year or anything.
No,
but all right
you
grades.
get, when you do a degree, you get a...
Yeah, oh, you're asking me what marks I got for 13 subjects. I can't remember.
Well, no, you end up with it. Did you get a first-class degree?
Oh, no. Well, I said I didn't do an honours degree. I wanted to go out and practice, so it was an ordinary degree I did.
Right, but you can't remember how you did.
I did all right. I didn't do top of the year.
But the other graduates at the same time, they'd all remember you.
Some of them remember me. One of them did incredibly well. He's a High Court judge. Some people didn't do well. I think the general idea in the 80s was we didn't really do much work. That sounds absolutely awful. But, you know, that was kind of the 80s.
If it came to it, would you take a lie detector test?
Yeah. Yeah, possibly, yeah. I would need to consult other lawyers about that.
If we set one up, you would do it?
A lie detector test for what? You know, I might
well, no,
stop
the police,
remote
as you know,
or
the
what?
police use them. They're just an indication.
They
really
use them for mass murder and things like that.
Well, no, they
yeah.
use them in many cases just to determine whether they think someone's telling
They
the truth.
don't use them that much. I know you've done the programmes of women behind bars and things. I confess, I think I've just seen one, but it's not used that much.
Well, look, I'll be honest with you.
I'd have to have a think.
Since
yeah.
you've mentioned it, I've done a lot of crime interviews with people who've committed way worse offences than what you've been accused of.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I know you have.
You know, way more mass murderers, serial killers, and so on. And they're all, I've got to say, almost all of them are very good liars. Could it be, people to be asking this, watching you thinking, either she's genuinely innocent here, or she's a terrible liar who is capable of all of these things.
I don't lie, and I tell white lies if I absolutely have to. Like when my 94-year-old ex-neighbour was dying, we all knew she was dying, and I'd phoned her in the hospital the night before, and I lied and said, you know, have a good sleep, everything's going to be fine, and that. You know. So I'll tell a white lie like that when somebody clearly needed some rest. And
how many times did you meet Richard Gadd?
Don't know.
What would you guess?
5, 6, maybe 5, 6 times.
That's it?
Yeah.
In your life?
In 3 months?
Yeah.
But
how do you think it's come to this, if that's all true?
I think he wanted to make money. I think he picked on somebody. There was a backstory there with that stalker article out there, right? So stalking's in vogue. Going to prison's in vogue. What do writers say, or English lecturers or something, write about what you know.
And to people who are watching, look down the barrel of that camera. To people who are watching this and who still doubt you, what do you say to them?
I think you should watch this. I think you should look at the number of articles that Richard Gadd and Jessica, the actress, have done, and how Netflix and he have promoted this. I think you should look at him saying, I am some sort of mental case, and judge for yourselves, because I can't change your mind on this. I can just rebut what has been said. You need to make up your own minds. But my mind is made up. He's a liar. And my friends say likewise.
Fiona Harvey, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I mean, I'm not being, to quote my uncle-in-law, I'm not being funny, yeah? I'm not being funny, right? But dude, like, yeah, she's right about one thing. She can't change my mind, and absolutely hasn't. And again, you know, it's difficult because again, I keep going back to there being some kind of mental issue here. Do you know what I mean? And it's really hard then to judge this fairly as someone who you feel has got, you know, really sound of mind, like, because there was just a few things in there that I'm like, nah, man, this. It'd be interesting to know the friends she speaks of, the friends, the High Court judge that she knows. Like, what are these other friends that she's talking about? Because in the show, she makes out that she's got all these people that she knows, the Tony Blairs and the Disney, and it's like, but do you though? You know, it's very easy to come on national TV and put on a little yellow blazer and a nice little blouse and come across like a coherent person because there's some real buzzwords that, you know, this is in vogue and that's in vogue, and whatever. But actual substance of what you're saying doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. The lawsuit would have already been filed. You think you're gonna come on national television and tell people that I've assaulted somebody in any kind of way? Any kind of way. And I'm not going to be... As soon as tomorrow morning comes, you're going to depict me as someone that you basically said is butters. That's what you basically said. Like, don't compare me to her. It's hardly a compliment. Which is just rude. But you're gonna have this person make out that I'm this crazy person. Nah. And if I'm honest, I'm expecting more vehement denial. And there's too many crossovers. Well, you know, I met him 5 or 6 times. I met someone 5 or 6 times, yet I'm tweeting them. What for? Someone that you don't want to talk to, that you think is obnoxious, you know, controlling. Why go to his show? I didn't heckle, but I went to his show. Why? Why would you go out of your way to spend time with someone that you didn't rate? You went, I'm not even there to go and talk to you. I went in there, and imagine he worked in there. Right, and you've gone into this place to go and eat multiple times. It's only 5 or 6 times that you've seen him in that 3-month period. And then what stopped you from going in there? Like you went in there originally to eat food. Did the food suddenly change? Are you like, I don't like the food no more? Like what was it that got you to stop going? Because remember, there was no issue that you don't know why he's done this. You just randomly saw it on breaking BBC News that you were suddenly in this play. I don't know. As I say, man, I feel a little bit sorry for her. If I'm honest, I feel a bit sorry for her because it's just giving delusions. That's what it's giving, in my opinion. In my opinion. What I'll also say as well, and I never thought I'd ever say this because I do not rate Piers Morgan at all. I do not rate him. But what I will say in this instance, I feel like he was quite good in the interview. There were a few moments where he did kind of speak over her, but that was more to kind of, I guess I would say, be a little bit journalistic in trying to pin her to an answer. That whole thing about, well, what grade did you get? I'm a little bit confused because even if you do like a dual degree, like, and you know, you've got like 2 things, politics and law, you sort of end up with an end mark. So unless I've got something completely wrong here, because I did an honours degree and I came out with an actual mark, and I can tell you now the reason that I would probably downplay my grade is because I wasn't happy with my end grade. Like I ended up with a 2-2, and you know I was always a 2-1 kind of student. I mean I could have tried for a first, but the minimum was getting a 2-1, and I ended up with a 2-2. And even now I'm like, I can't believe I got a 2-2. But that's the reason that I'd be like, I did okay. But after someone asking you like the second time what grade you got and they didn't answer, you were like, there's something suspect going on here. Because why aren't you answering? A very simple question. I don't know. As I said, it was definitely worth watching, and I feel that as interviews go, I think Piers was quite good in, you know, even how as he tried to frame the questions and keeping her quite calm, and almost trying to get her to admit something by being like, you know what? Let's not talk about the big stuff yet, but the little stuff. You did the little stuff, didn't you? Do you know what I mean? You can tell me the little stuff because that's not as bad as the serious stuff. Tell me the little stuff. So I think his way of doing that, I thought was quite clever. But I still come back to the point of this whole thing is a little bit exploitative. If it is her, then she definitely has not got the mental capacity to be in a situation, again in my opinion, to be in a situation like that when she's being grilled and being asked to verify details on something that is, I think it's pretty slam dunk. I've never been more like, if this has given me more surety than I had previously. As I said, actually, in my opinion. Okay, well, I'd love to know what other people thought of this interview. What do you think of Baby Reindeer in general? What I will say, actually, before I finish, I do think what Piers said there, at the very least, I think the duty of care for this woman, I mean, I don't know how, she said that they've never reached out to her or anything, like, but I'm just going by what Richard Gadd said. He said that we've gone to all kinds of levels to make sure that this person is unrecognisable. Where? Sir, where? Because, like Piers said, give me 10 minutes, I would have found that person. Like, looking at the person, looking at the mannerisms. Like, so, again, if it wasn't this person, how could the actress have gotten it so nailed on? And you've given enough to say that this happened. I'm sorry. There's more credence. You are not gonna come out on Beyonce's internet, yeah, and start telling people that 41,000 emails and texts and tweets later, however many voicemails and whatever, that this person did this and they didn't do it, because you're going to get sued. Unless of course he is some crazy mastermind and was like, well, you know, she's probably not of sound mind, so maybe she wouldn't be able to do that. But like, other people would definitely fact check that. There are people that literally spend their whole day being just like, I'm going to find out. That's it. So I if I had to pick a side to be on or a juncture, my thing would be Ashy. Oh yeah, let us know what you guys thought of this. What do you think of the show? What do you think of Richard Gadd? What do you think of all of this? And do you think she's innocent and actually, you know, that the world's crazy? I'd love to know what you thought. So yeah, please drop me a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this reaction. Again, this will be on Patreon. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on YouTube yet. We'll see. But yeah, again, Patreon's a great way as well to help support the channel. I'm doing this full time, so I'd love to keep doing this. It's been great. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.